I kind of have to set a boundary here because I'm looking for a relationship, not a pen pal.
You don't wait to be chosen. We just start to choose better. Welcome to the High Value Woman's Playbook. I'm your host, Amanda Carroll, and every episode is another play you can run in your life to get the life and the love that you're capable of. Today's play is the one I run on myself sometimes when something in life isn't working, and you can run on your dating life right now. I call this the love audit. I sat down live with a client. Her name is Kate, and we walked through her actual dating patterns, what she's tolerating, who she's handing second chances to that she shouldn't, and where her standards quietly slip just to keep someone's attention. And by the end, she had a full reset. You're going to want to write this down in your journal, girls, so go get it. Here's the thing. An audit fixes the conversations you're already in. It doesn't necessarily fix what's pulling the wrong men towards you in the first place. That starts with your dating profile. So before you listen, go grab my free training. It's called Magnetic Attraction. It walks you through building a dating profile that filters for you, one that attracts high-value men and screens out the ones who were never going to choose you. It's free, and the link is in the show notes. All right, now let's run the audit. We're building a playbook, the High Value Woman's Playbook, and every session I try to give you a new play to run in your life. And one of the things that I have learned is that sometimes I got to sit back when something's not working the way that I want it to work, and sit back instead of blaming everything else, take a little personal responsibility and go, okay, I'm going to audit how like, what is it that I can do differently to get a different result? Often, I always compare it to like working out. I was like, well, okay, I'm not getting where I want to go. So I'm not going to blame the gym. I'm not going to blame a trainer that sends me, workouts. I need to look inside. What is my routine like? Why am I so fatigued? That's my thing lately. So I've got one of these lately. What can I do? How can I get more energy? So I did like a little personal audit. So what I want you to think about in your love life is it's really easy, and I've been there, to blame dating apps and to blame all men and to blame the town that we live in, right? I think those are the top three things that the women in this community and women I talk to online say why dating is hard. It's my city. It's men. There are no good men at my level. And then it's the dating apps. When really, those are none of those things we can control, right? What can we control? How we show up. So the play I want you to run in your life this week, and we can do it together on this session, is a love audit. Okay. And I promise you, this isn't going to be like some like rough unveiling. This is just us working together to figure out what can we do on our part to change our outcome. It's up to you. And I'm here to help. So if your dating life isn't really producing the result you want, I don't think it's necessarily more effort. We need just better decisions. Does that make sense? Because high value women, I say this all the time, you don't wait to be chosen. We choose better. So let's talk about a pattern audit. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is think about what are my patterns and how I'm showing up on dating apps, in real life as I'm going out there trying to meet people, and even on the first date. Okay. If you can, let me open up the chats. If you want to write in the chats your comments or write in a journal, whatever you feel like works for you, tap it into your phone. Okay. Write down the names of the last 3 men that you went on a couple dates with. Maybe just first date, or maybe just some DMs that you're communicating with and he didn't earn the date. Okay. Who are the last 3? Got them? How did each one of them make you feel? Not what they said, not what they did or didn't do, but how did you feel in your communication and your interactions with them? Kate, can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Do you want to share one example? You don't have to share 3 if you don't want to.
Yeah, definitely. The last couple of guys who didn't earn a spot were the ones I was talking about last time.
Okay.
The one that was being like inappropriately sexual,
Mhm.
and the one who was like canceling and rescheduling last minute and tried to make it seem like my fault
Mhm.
because, people who aren't flexible are a turnoff to him.
Sorry, men that can't keep their promises are a big turnoff to me. So I always
Exactly.
said yeah. So
Yeah.
how do they make you feel?
They definitely made me feel icky,
Okay.
like, you know, it
Yeah.
gave me, like, a really uneasy feeling.
Uneasy. That's
Yeah.
really important. They gave you the ick and they made you feel uneasy.
Yeah.
So let's figure this out. What was the common thread between all of these individuals, do you think?
Well, I feel like both of them, maybe they, like, weren't really working on themselves because they didn't really seem like they were ready for something. They just seemed like they were dating because they were supposed to be dating.
Okay, like they were just lonely and wanted a buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you felt like they weren't so do you mean like they weren't not that they were like working on themselves, but they didn't know what they wanted?
Yeah.
Okay. So we entertain guys that didn't know what they wanted.
Yes.
So maybe they were inconsistent and then so was it clear at any step in the process, did you ask them what they were looking for? Or did you notice what they said on their dating profile?
Yeah. On their dating profile, they both said long term or life partner because I filter by that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But I
So
didn't
it was
ask
just
them.
okay.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a check, right? If we're doing a love audit, don't always take what they say in their profile as gospel truth, right? So maybe that then it was like once they start giving you the runaround in moving forward, like, hey, you know what? Just so we're clear, I'm looking for the real thing. I want a real long term relationship. Seems like you're not really behaving like this. What is it that you're looking for? To maybe confirm instead of just take their profile for it. Because I have a feeling some guys do that because they know that's what women want to see, even though they don't really feel like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I agree. I
Mhm.
actually did that to the guy that I'm going on a date with this Friday.
Okay, you asked him verbally.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And he said,
He said that he definitely was prioritizing dating and looking for something, long term, last a lifetime.
okay, that's good. So that's so we did our audit and then we're like, okay, I'm going to now implement that I'm not going to just take their profile's word for it. I'm going to see are they intentional and real or are they just out there having fun? Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you. So again, that's kind of like your type, there's nothing wrong with you. Your type isn't the problem. It's just a little bit of tolerance, right? And saying, how long am I going to allow this guy to string me along and not be serious about dating? Right. And I don't think you did. How soon did you cut those guys off?
Well, the first one was after one date because,
Mhm.
he wasn't really being overly sexual before that date.
Right.
So it was probably like, well, he mentioned it once and I kind of shut him down. And then he mentioned it
Mhm.
like 5 days later. And then, we basically ended things. So I kinda gave him,
Mhm.
like, a second chance just because I was like, a lot of people deserve a second chance, but yeah, I would say the second time he mentioned it, it was like, "Okay, no."
Okay, let's audit that. Now looking back, there's no judgment. We're not hating ourselves. We're just learning, right? So I don't think there's any such thing as failure. It's just feedback when something doesn't
Yeah.
go the way you wanted. So how would you handle that differently? Maybe with the first sexual comment?
Well, maybe I would say something more direct like, "Hey, I don't," or, clear and more about me, like, "Hey, I don't talk about sexual things until we're further in and I trust the person."
Mhm.
'Cause I feel like I was saying maybe unclear things like, "Hey, I'd rather not talk about this," or like, beating around the bush.
Got
So
it.
maybe if I had like a more clear boundary.
Mhm. I definitely okay, there you go. So so that's the next thing we add, right? We're gonna add asking them what they're looking for, getting confirmation, and very direct communication.
Yeah.
And I personally would have eliminated him immediately once he did that. when, yes, there's things that maybe sarcasm we give somebody a second chance on. But right now, when a man that you're getting to know says something inappropriate sexually and makes you feel uncomfortable, I don't think we normalize giving that a second chance. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable sharing what he said? It could be very helpful to other women that are listening. If not, I
He
totally get it.
he asked me if I was into, like, nipple play, and then well, first of all, I used the excuse that I was, like, at my family's house, my parents' house. I was like, "I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm with my family. Shut
Right.
it down." And then, like, I was on my flight home, and he was like, "Oh, you're not with your family anymore." And then he asked me
Um,
again. Ugh,
so I think moving forward, we kick them out. We fire them the first time they say something like that. What do you think about
okay.
that?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
I mean,
'Cause
I'm all for sexting and flirtiness in a
I
committed relationship once you're having sex,
yeah,
right? But before that, after date one, was there even a kiss yet?
no,
Okay, yeah, then that he was showing his true colors to you
yeah,
then. So, I'm sorry you had to deal with that, and I really believe this is like a form of abuse that people are normalizing, and if I were you, I would go back and report him.
yeah, I could do that if he still is matched with me.
Yep, I would go back, and because we have to make the more of us that say something, the safer the dating world will be for everybody and the healthier the dating world will be for everybody, right? Once men realize they're going to get kicked off if they do this stuff, then they won't do it as much, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's important. Okay, so that's audit number 1. Okay, so here's audit number 2. The second thing I want to talk about is your selection filters. This is what I call the CEO shift. All right. We kind of talked a little bit about this already, but sometimes we're dating more like an employee for a corporation rather than the CEO of the corporation. So instead of being the person that's just like waiting for the assignment and then you say, yes, I'll do that, we're just waiting for the guy to pick us and then we say yes. I want you to switch yourself into CEO mode. Have you yourself audit. Okay. CEOs do this too. You think about what they look like. They get the numbers for the business, the monthly numbers, the quarterly numbers, and they look at those numbers and they see how can I improve revenue, right? How can I increase our profit? So look at your numbers, what's been going on right now. Quick pause because everything we just did with your filters only works if the right men are actually in front of you to filter. Think about it. You can audit your patterns all day, but if your profile is dimming your light and only attracting low value men, you're auditioning the wrong pool. You're just getting better at choosing between options that were never what you really wanted in the first place. That's exactly why I want you to watch my free training. It's called Magnetic Attraction. It fixes it. I walk you through building a dating profile that does the vetting before the first message. So the men who reach out are available, serious, and an actual fit for you. Fewer matches, better ones. That's what you want. So you don't waste your time. It's completely free. The link is in the show notes. So go grab it, set up your profile, and then run today's audit on the right pool. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's talk about filters. So you can write this down or put it in your phone, whatever you feel like doing. Are you filtering on chemistry only? You can just kind of put a yes or no there. Second question, dating like a CEO. Are you filtering on looks, height, status? Are you ignoring values, emotional availability, and consistency? This is the shift because a lot of women say there are just no good men. No, you're ignoring the nice ones, I think, right? When you think about it, when you're filtering, Kate, I'm going to put you on the spot again. So let's audit your filters. When you're going through your dating app, first of all, you don't wait to see who liked you and shop from your likes. You're dating like the CEO. So you're going to go on and then you're going to filter appropriately on those profiles. So you're filtering for, ooh, he looks good. Chemistry only. How would you give yourself a score there on what scale of 1 to 10? How much does attractiveness make you go, "Oh, yeah"?
Well, I feel like attractiveness is only part of it because I
Okay.
definitely have my filters on, long term or life partner only.
Mhm.
I don't I only filter like my height and above, which is pretty short. And
Okay.
my age range is pretty wide.
Okay.
Uh, well, I don't really filter. Well, I filter with doesn't already have kids, but I don't filter like yes or no kids because right now I'm open to both.
Okay. So you're filtering
Um,
out single dads right now.
yes, just because I'm not in a place right now to, date someone with kids.
That's fair. That's fair.
Uh, but I feel like the physical part is definitely a part of it, but it's not all of it because, half of it is, you know, everything I mentioned just now. And yeah, like you were saying, how he shows up.
Yeah. Those are important because it can be really easy when we think about dating apps, even the way I used them. Because you give somebody what, 3 to 5 seconds before you decide whether you're gonna allow them to talk to you or not, you know? And and then you're like, they look good, and then all that's you're receiving is people that are at your height, and then maybe sometimes it's status. Do you ever look at that? Like, do you think you filter sometimes by job title or like where they live or how nice their car is if they have a picture of their car?
I definitely do job title because I mean, my biggest thing is I don't want someone who works like evenings or weekends because my love language is quality time.
There you go.
So if I see firefighter, I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
usually if they're a nurse, I'll say no. But if they're like standout, I will match with them and message them and be like, hey, do you work evenings or weekends?
Right. Okay. That's fair. So I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's necessarily only filtering on status. I think where women make the mistake is really being very picky of I need somebody that makes over $200,000 a year, you know? And that's it. And like there's a lot more substance and you never know exactly what's going on, right, with someone. You might be missing a beautiful relationship just because you're filtering out on status when it comes to how much money they make. So, what about the other filter? Let's audit ourselves. Are you paying attention to their values, their consistency of how they're messaging you, or even how emotionally available they are or they say they are on their profile?
Yeah, that's definitely the one that I need to work on.
Okay. Tell me more. Why do you feel like that's in the audit? That's what you could improve.
Well, I feel like I keep giving guys more chances when they don't really show consistency.
Okay.
Like, well, this one guy, he messaged me like he would wait a few days in between each message. And then he took like a month break from the dating apps. And then he came back and was like, I'm so sorry. I took a month date from the or a month break. And then I was like, oh, let's switch to texting. And we finally switched to texting. And he still was taking like days in between. So I was like, hey, I kind of have to set a boundary here because I'm looking for a relationship, not a pen pal. So if we don't get a date on the schedule by end of day today, I'm gonna have to pass. And so he didn't respond for 4 more days. I got back from my trip and Monday morning I was like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you for 4 more days, so I'm gonna be a no, best of luck." And of course, he responds right after, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was so busy this weekend, blah, blah, blah." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Do you see how this would be a problem for
Mhm.
someone looking for their future life partner?" Like,
Good
I
for you.
specific I specifically said, "If you don't respond by end of day," and you completely ignored it. You didn't even send, like, a two-sentence message that was like, "By the way, I really wanna respond, but I'm busy. I'll respond ASAP."
Yeah.
You just, like, completely didn't respond, and for 4 days at that, you didn't call me, like, nothing. So, I was like, then I'm definitely gonna have to pass. Like,
Okay.
you have to see how this is not what I'm looking for.
Right. So, if you were to audit yourself, I think you did a good job. If you were audit yourself about that interaction, what would you do differently now?
Well, it's hard because, like, I usually don't unmatch people, but
Okay.
I would like, when he didn't respond for a month, he became hidden, like, a week
Mhm.
after not responding, so I, like, forgot about him. And then he
Oh,
popped back up because, even if they're hidden, if they message you again, they pop back up.
right.
So I was like, "Oh, okay, well, he took a break. We all need a break from the app sometimes. Cool." So I just don't know what I could have done differently, like,
Okay.
I
May
don't know.
I suggest make a suggestion?
Yeah.
You weren't fast enough to fire. Remember, if you're hiring yourself, you are promoting yourself as the CEO of your love life. You're slow to hire, fast to fire, and never rehire. So we rehired somebody that didn't show up for us the first time, right? And then we gave them 4 days and we gave them 5 days. It's kind of like the parenting technique where their discipline is if you don't stop that, I'm going to count to 5, you know,
Mm,
and giving him way too many opportunities. Like if he was an employee and you're the boss, right? And they continue not to show up, continue not to respond to emails, and don't do the thing that you asked them to do. And then you give them a warning and they still don't do it. You realize you should have fired them sooner, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I say we don't rehire. That was number one. And then not fast enough to fire them. So I would do I would have said, okay, maybe I would have entertained if they're like, "Oh, I'm back." But if they stopped responding, I just would have crossed them off my list. I wouldn't even felt the need to say, "Hey, I'm out." I would have just been like, "Well, they're out, so I'm moving on." That's
Yeah.
how I would have handled that. Do you know what was really going on there? Because I think I have an idea.
I mean, he didn't tell me any details, but I'm assuming he met someone.
Yeah, there was somebody else that he
Yeah.
was spending the weekend with. And either he met someone and then turned back on the app, or he met someone and was still dating them and was looking for somebody better. So a month later, he turned his app back on and was looking for a plan B. I don't know. I can't confirm it, but that's my suspicion. Does that seem to kind of connect the dots with you now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. And if you yeah. It
What were you going to
it's
say?
just it's just kind of a interesting situation because it's like it automatically hides him and then it pops up in my inbox. And it's
Right.
really hard for me to be like, I 100% want to say no to him because, like, if I had to take a break and if I came back, then I would want a guy to be like, hey, totally cool. Let's get a date on the schedule.
Yeah. I think that was okay. But then when he didn't do it, I would
Yeah.
have just moved on instantly.
True.
And what was
Yeah.
it that, Maya Angelou told Oprah? "When people show you who they are, believe them."
Yeah.
If they can't be consistent in the very beginning when they're supposed to be on best behavior, then they never will be, right? So
Yeah.
our
That's,
audit so for self-auditing, I would think the lesson would be fire faster and
yeah.
don't ignore inconsistency.
Yeah.
Because that was taking up your time and it was taking up your emotional energy when all of that could have just been ended and you could have been spending that on somebody that was consistent and was
Yeah.
available to you, right? So spot that early and don't be so nice, right? Don't give them multiple chances. Because also
Hmm.
that's giving a little bit of, I'm really going to it's giving them a signal. Some personality types, men and women do this. They kinda test somebody to see what kind of behaviors they can get away with or not, right? In some ways, all human beings do this, and we do it sometimes unintentionally, right? And he was testing, am I gonna be able to be super aloof and inconsistent and not put too much effort in order to get this girl's attention? And it worked. But that's not what we want. So don't allow them to test your boundaries with something that you don't want. And if you feel like it, tell them like instant, like, look, I noticed that you're very inconsistent with communication. That's not going to work for me. I wish you the best. And then block them. That's it. And move on. All right. Okay. So the third area, how we can audit our love life in order to get a better result is let's talk about energy and behavior. This is where I just want you to kind of open up your heart a little bit with me and really look into what's really happening. How am I feeling? Okay. So answer these questions when we're auditing our energy and behavior on dating apps. Where are you over giving? And where are you chasing clarity instead of requiring it? And where are you abandoning your standards just to keep someone's attention? Kate, anything come up there for you?
What was the first question again?
Where are you over giving?
Well, I definitely feel like, obviously giving people too many chances, but I
Mhm.
feel like since I'm very type A, I feel like, well, at least I used to do all the planning. I was like, okay, well, I'm free these dates and we're going to go here and we'll meet at this time. And the guy was like, sure.
Right.
But, ever since I started this program, and you gave me the rule, don't plan the date. I have been
Mhm.
making them plan.
Good.
But
It's probably
I think,
annoying because they don't do it, some of them.
yeah, you kind of have to guide them. And then you're like, yay, good job.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I would say along those lines, like, I feel like I usually put in more effort than most guys.
Okay. So match. So the audit there would be, I need to match effort,
Yeah.
right? What would your how would your audit be there about overgiving? You already said, "I stopped planning dates." Great job. And what how else would you stop overgiving?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm not sure about. I'm like, how do I, like, I guess I'm not very good at taking things slow.
Okay. Well, but sometimes you don't. In the beginning, I don't like taking it slow. I don't think that's
Yeah.
bad. You want to get to the meeting as soon as possible to see if this is a real thing, right? When we take things too slow, we never get what we want. So I don't think that I think you're being too nice and giving too many chances to the wrong ones, hoping that they're going to show up differently, right? Like we talked about before, hoping that they figure out how to plan a date, hoping that they figure out that you want to hear
Yeah.
from them on a regular basis, right? I think you're being too nice.
I guess my whole thing is like, for example, after 3 or 4 dates, I feel like I, start imagining my life with them, and I'm
Right.
like, "Wow, this is going so well," and then I feel like they kind of step back a little because they see me putting in more effort and, like, being more excited than them.
Okay. There it is. So then let's again look at matching effort, right? Let's not give somebody 3 or 4 dates because I know your busy schedule. That's a lot of your time. And let's
Yeah.
not give somebody 3 to 4 dates unless we know that they're into you and that they want a committed relationship with you, right? That's why I always say after ask what they're looking for on the first date. Run them through the 4 keys to a healthy partner. If they have the 4 keys of being humble, being curious about you, servant-minded, and awareness of trauma and growth, they have all of those, then they earn the question, well, what is it that you're looking for? And if they match what you're looking for, long-term committed relationship, then we get date 2 and date 3 with the intention of that becoming a committed relationship. If they don't know, then they don't get date number 2, right? And if they don't know after date number 3, and if you guys aren't already talking about pausing the apps, then don't overgive to them your emotional availability and your time. Does that feel like that would be a good check for you?
Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
I just don't really know how to not give them my emotional availability.
I know, because you fall it's hard. Well, you kind of guide to see if they're matching it, right?
Yeah.
In that in the 4 keys to a healthy partner, we talk about that in my program, 5 Dates to Forever. So, and in the course, we talk about how you want to ask. What was your family like? What was it like growing up? And then you want to ask, how did that define you? And once you're asking those questions early on, you're testing to see if he can be open to talk about his emotions. And if he can't answer that question, then he's not emotionally available enough for you to be emotionally available to him, right? He has to earn that. And so maybe your audit is, I think you need to go deeper sooner in getting to know him instead of just maybe do you find your conversations on the first couple of dates are more surface and more fun?
No, I
Okay.
usually dive right in.
Okay. And do you sometimes get a response that you want, but sometimes not?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the times the guys are like pleasantly surprised that I dive right in and I get deep.
Okay,
And
good.
then they like show up really well for a little bit, like
Okay.
fully. And then I feel like after a few weeks or so, they, you know, go back to being a little more distant. It's like they get excited about the depth and then they get maybe tired of it or something. I don't know.
Okay. So if you were gonna audit yourself, why do you think that that happens?
I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they get scared. They're like, no, this is actually a good girl who is actually deep. And I actually found a good partner. And now I'm scared. And they like distance themselves because they're afraid of a relationship.
Is that an assumption or did you ask and get that clarification?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of different scenarios, and some of them I've asked, and some of them have said that they're scared and not ready like they thought they were.
Okay.
But,
Which is
you
on them,
know,
not on you. So that's
yeah,
good. You got clarity. Okay.
yeah. But yeah, a couple of them you know, some of them I haven't really asked. But
Okay. So maybe that's an audit to yourself that you can. And that was
yeah.
the second question. Are you chasing clarity or just or are you requiring it? So we can like give him a couple dates and then we're like, I still don't know where I stand with this guy. Or are you going to make sure that in exchange for more time with you, you have clarity of what his intentions are? I think for you, again, this is coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want you to audit yourself. And here I am, like breaking in. So tell me if I'm wrong. But I feel like I think you could be more open and direct with your communication with people you're dating about what you want and require.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely need to work on that last part we were talking about, like, not chasing, what's the word? But actually like
Chasing clarity.
yeah, but actually like requiring it, asking directly and like cutting it off if I don't get it.
Yes, and not giving them extra chances. Boom. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not, and it goes, I think a lot of women, and I was just like that, Kate. I completely get it. But we really want to have a partner. And we get we just desire it so much. So we allow things. And by doing that, we think that we're giving ourselves a better chance for love, but we're really screwing ourselves and our future selves because we're allowing these people to hurt us, take up our time, so we don't have a window or a door for the right one to come in because we're too busy dealing with non-committal men and that men that don't give us clarity, right? I think I need to require clarity from the beginning. And if you don't get it, let them go.
Yeah.
Yes. And it sounds counterproductive, but I don't think it is. How do you feel about that? Does it feel like, but if I do that, I'm not going to have a date?
I mean, now that I've joined this program, I feel like I can do it. But earlier, I was definitely in the mindset of like, I need to be open to everyone and give multiple chances. But
Oh,
now I feel like I can, because once maybe a couple weeks ago, once I like started cutting people off for, I guess, not showing relationship material, then I either had more free time to work on myself or I was like working on scheduling a date with someone who was showing effort. So,
exactly. Yeah.
beforehand, yeah, right now I feel like I can do this because I know. Even though it sounds counterintuitive, it will work.
Yes, it will. I love that. That's a huge aha moment. Because that was the third question when we're editing our energy and behavior. Are you abandoning your standards to keep someone? And I think like previous Kate was, right?
Yes.
Even allowing the way a man approached you sexually. Like, no thanks, I don't want that. Right. But
Yeah.
like new Kate is like, no, I'm not going to abandon my standards just to keep someone, to keep the wrong one. Why would I do that? And women who do that continually, that's why it takes years for them on dating apps, right? Because they keep abandoning their standards just to have dates. In women who refuse to abandon their standards, it might take them a bit longer. They might not have a date lined up every day of the week, but the ones they do are quality, and it takes them just a few months to meet someone because they're not willing to waste their time. There's not a scarcity of good men. There's not. I work with male clients too, and they come to me so desperately wanting that beautiful relationship, right? And they're trying to get women to pay attention to them and give them a chance. Those are the guys I want you to find because they're there. So when we stop chasing the ones that don't give us clarity, when we stop abandoning our standards, those guys step up and pay attention. They might already be in your DMs and they're showing up consistently, but you're so used to the chase, these guys seem a little boring. Give the guy that shows up consistently and is kind and is not trying to be overly pursuing or overly sexual. That's the guy to give a chance to, right? And just remember, you don't attract high value men that want commitment by feeling like you had to prove your worth to them and abandoning your standards. You attract them by embodying your worth, knowing this is my expectations and they're not giving it to me, so I'm gone. Embody your worth. You know, you want someone that's available to be with you because your love language is quality of time. I get you, girl. That's mine too. So, and if they can't meet that, they're gone. And then the right one will go, ooh, that's her standard. I'm going to meet it. Okay. So the fourth thing of our love audit today, I think this goes right into it. Your standards reset. Okay. Now we're going to rebuild. We audited. Now we're going to go, okay, what is it that I'm going to do now? Write this down if you can. From this moment forward, and Kate, if you don't mind, I want you to fill in the blank. Okay. From this moment forward, I no longer entertain men who. How would you
Take
finish?
4 days to respond.
What'd you say?
Take 4 days to respond.
There you go. I no longer entertain men who are bad at communication. Take 4 days to respond. I love that. Good rule. So that's a new standard, and that is a deal breaker. Okay. Don't be nice. Okay. Next sentence. Okay. From this moment forward, I require blank before I invest emotionally.
Confirmation that he is willing to invest in me.
Okay. I like that. Or maybe you require knowledge that they're looking for a long term relationship and they are thinking about wanting it with you.
Yes.
Yes. I require confirmation that he wants a long term relationship with me before I invest emotionally. I like that. All right. Last one. From this moment forward, I walk away when.
He doesn't show, or I guess at the first sign of inconsistency.
There you go. Or, yeah, you can have a couple things there. I walk away when, at the first sign of inconsistency, I walk away when they make me uncomfortable with something they say sexually the first time and make
When
this.
they
Go ahead.
when they cancel on me the day of.
Yep. They don't get a second chance. Yeah. I walk away when. So that is our standards reset. And I'm convinced that clarity like that for you and how you're showing up creates momentum in your love life. Okay. So now that we did our love audit and we figured out, okay, this is what I'm not going to do from this moment forward, I have like a little 7-day action plan for you. Okay. Moving forward this week, let's remember this standard reset. Go on dates only with men who meet your filters. Stay present on those dates and really ask and directly communicate about what you want and what you're looking for. Observe their behavior before you overinvest because nothing changes in your love life, honestly, until you do. Right? It's not the apps, it's not the city you live in, it's not that there are no good men. There's not a scarcity of good men. It's the way we're using him. And that's right. That's what I say all the time. It's having a strategy. And you have that because you're here. So I'm really glad we were able to do this today because, again, nothing changes until you do. And today, you just changed. That's the play, the love audit, the three things to take with you. One, you're the CEO of your love life. Be slow to hire, fast to fire, never ever rehire. And every new person, they get a 30-day provisional job. Two, require clarity before you invest and let a man go the first time he shows you he can't give it to you. And three, don't abandon your standards just to keep someone. You attract high value men by embodying your worth, not by proving it. If this episode landed, would you do one thing for me? Send it to a friend, another woman in your life who keeps giving the runaround a second chance, who keeps taking back the same guy and gets her heart broken over and over. You know who she is. That's how she finds her way out, and that's how this show grows too. Before your next swipe, though, set up your profile right away to be magnetically attractive to high value men. And I've got some help for you. My free training, Magnetic Attraction, shows you how to build a dating profile that sends away the clowns and only attracts high value men and filters everyone else out. It's free and the link is in the show notes. Now, if you just ran this love audit in your head and you realized you want to do it for real with me, one-on-one on your actual profile and your actual patterns, we can totally do it. It's a free love audit call. You and I sit down together. I look at exactly what's happening in your love life, and you leave knowing what to change. If you are ready, book your free love audit. The link for that and the free magnetic attraction training is in the show notes. Please subscribe, follow, leave a review wherever you're listening. It is the single best way to help more women find the podcast. I'm Amanda Carroll, reminding you, you don't wait to be chosen. You're the one doing the choosing, and you can do it better. Now go run the play.